Hello there, my name is Brian Wilmer. Now many of you may know me here on YouTube for my videos, but what some people don't know, in case you don't know who I am, as you can see, one thing that I am, besides video maker here on YouTube, is also on the fact that I'm an Awana leader. And I've been teaching and helping lead the Awana program here at my church, Patterson Christian Fellowship in Patterson, California, for the past 2 years. The reason I jumped at the opportunity to be part of this program, because as a kid myself, I attended Awanas. Now much has changed since I was a part of Awanas, since my sisters were a part of Awanas, and since my cousins were. See, back when me and my sisters and my cousins went to Awanas together, we had similar programs, but different clubs. The difference in clubs are like this. Back when I went to Awanas with my sisters and my cousin, what is now known as Truth in Training or Truth Trackers was once known as Pioneers and Guards. The Pioneers were the boys and the Guards were the girls. But now that has changed to the point that is now known as the Truth in Training program. Other things that have changed throughout the years as well is the addition of programs for the junior high and high school students. Unfortunately, our church, unlike some churches that may have this program, like Journey, for example, and many others, as I look through this, like Journey and Trek. Unlike many others, our church only has 3 Awana clubs within the Awanas program. The Journey and Trek program right now is currently known as the Youth Night and Youth Group on Tuesday nights at our pastor's house here in Patterson. So right now, until resources help us out, until God provides us with a bigger opportunity, right now, Awanas here at Patterson Christian Fellowship only consist of 3 groups: Cubbies, Sparkies, and Truth in Training. Myself and my mom are involved in the Truth in Training part. Well, not Truth in Training, but the Cubbies program. While our friend Bobby Ferroni is involved in Truth in Training, and our other friend Julie Loran and Caitlin Ambuster, I believe that's how I pronounce her name, or you pronounce her name, are involved in Sparkies. Now again, as I mentioned, the reason I jumped at this opportunity to be part of this is because I had experience as a kid myself, being in Awanas. One of the greatest experiences that I've ever had, along with my sisters and cousins, was the fact that we were all taught at one time by my parents. My parents, my mom and dad, once taught me and my sisters and my cousins at individual times when they were the leaders of the Sparkies. Now I'm able to pass that on along with my mom and our friends to the newer generation. I've even been able to pass it on to my young 6.5-year-old nephew. Now, if you're wondering what Awana stands for, in case you don't know, but many should, since there are many Awana programs and clubs around the world and in this country and in this state. Awanas comes from these words: approved workmen are not ashamed. And this could be found in 2 Timothy 2:15. Now, like majority of Awana programs, our Awana program meets on Wednesday nights from 7 o'clock to 8:30. But we have different sessions. See, there are some Awana programs that go all year. Our Awana program is split into 2 sections: fall and spring. We go a few months in the fall, basically September to November. Actually, from the first week of September to the middle week or the week before Thanksgiving. Then we continue on starting around either in late January or early February. Maybe even before then. in for the spring session. Although our church is not as big as some churches that hold the Awana program, it's a start. And I know that if we can get word out to other churches out there like New Hope, Family Christian Center, and many others here in the Patterson area, that more kids would come to Awanas and more churches would be involved. Again, as I mentioned, unlike some Awana programs at other churches around the world and in this country and possibly in this state, we don't have all the clubs. We just focus on the three major clubs that have been around since the beginning of Awanas. And it's Cubbies, Sparkies, and Truth and Training. And again, Truth and Training used to be known as Pioneers and Guards. A sample of what some of the kids do are like this. These are handbooks for the Cubbies. Now, it all depends originally who starts out where. My mother and I, when we began the Awanas, when we started doing Cubbies, started the kids out on a Hopper book. But apparently we found out that originally you're supposed to start them on Jumper and then go right to Hopper. So, but these are what the kids start with in Cubbies. I don't have anything on Sparkies because that's our Sparky Leaders department. But again, unlike some churches, well, not some, and if not most churches, we don't have all the programs, nor do we have most of the uniforms. These uniforms we got for the leaders. Now as I look through this book and I see the old gray uniform and blouse, reminding me back of the day of the Pioneers and the Guards. Yes, those are around, but what we use instead is the green uniform, is the green shirts for the kids. Now the other difference about our kids as well is some of them, well, about our Awana group is like this, I should say. Some of the kids, at times, even though they're old enough to be a Sparky or a Truth and Training, have to wait till they finish the book. And I know for certain that we at Patterson Christian Fellowship are not the only church out there that goes by that. Because there are some kids that may seem like they're old enough and ready enough to move on up. But there are leaders like myself and those that work with me, and those that I work with, I should say, they feel that kids need to finish their books before they move on. Some kids, even if they start out in the Hopper book or in the Jumper book, as long as they finish this book, only then will they move on. And again, I know that there are those out there, there are churches out there, leaders of Awanas and other churches that feel the same way. Again, the only thing about our, again, I hate to repeat myself, but again, the only difference about our church is that we don't have all the groups normally associated with Awanas. And I know we're not the only church that is like that. I know there are other churches here in this state, I know there's churches around the world and around in this country that focus mainly on Cubbies, Sparkies, and Truth and Training. The bigger churches, yes, do provide all the clubs. I understand that. They involve all the clubs from the Puggles all the way up to Journey. But as I mentioned, the Trek in the Journey area right now is being provided as youth night on Tuesday nights by our pastor, which to us is a good thing. Because only until God decides to expand and give us the wisdom, I should say, to expand this club, this program to bigger things, moving on to bigger things, only then do I feel will we be able to incorporate Journey and Trek, and Puggles. But until that time, until God provides us with that way, hey, to expand and to bring those other clubs in, right now our main priority is the Cubbies, Sparkies, and Truth in Training. But the one thing about Awanas that a lot of kids will enjoy or have enjoyed is the fun that they have. Every other night, every other Wednesday night, myself, for example, will provide the kids with a video and a craft. While all the other times, the leaders, the main leaders, the directors, if you will, which are my mom and her friend Bobby Ferroni, they will provide activities, duties like crafts, apps, and scriptures, while our Sparkies leader will focus more on games and other things. One thing that the Awana kids the one thing Awana kids love most of the time is when they get awards, especially if they finish a book, finish a chapter in the book, or if they move on. But as we all know, kids aren't the only ones in Awanas, are not the only ones that get to enjoy these awards. So do leaders. Unfortunately, right now, Patterson Christian Fellowship's Awana program doesn't have the materials or the funds right now. Well, we do, but like I said, we're just waiting for God to expand us into a bigger area with this program. But right now, the leaders only pass out awards like this, or little goodies and treats, instead of having them passed on to ourselves. This award was presented to one of my parents, and I think one of my parents at Fremont Community Church when they taught Awanas there. But overall, Awanas, Approved Workmen Are Not Ashamed from 2 Timothy 2:15 is a great program for kids to go into. It doesn't matter if it's being done at a small church like ours, Patterson Christian Fellowship, or it's done at the biggest church in the country or in the world. As long as it's doing its one goal, and that's to reach boys and girls with the gospel of Christ and to teach them to serve Him. So I thank you for listening to my little explanation on my experience in Awanas and how Awanas is working here at Patterson Christian Fellowship. If you, any Awana leaders out there, have your own personal stories, let me know, video response me, comment me. I would like to hear from you, and I'm pretty sure if I can get word out, so would the whole Awanas program here at Patterson Christian Fellowship. Thank you, God bless, and may the Lord be with you.